One of the most brilliant political minds, really, in modern times, Steve Bannon. And Steve, you predicted right here on this show that Hillary Clinton could be testing the waters for a 2020 rematch run. She's certainly making a lot of media rounds. You're convinced that she's in, and, well, she might be. I mean, do we have the sound, you guys? She recently sat down with PBS and said that she would possibly do it again. Here we go.
It truly is remarkable how obsessed he remains with me. He's either lying or delusional or both. So maybe there does need to be a rematch. I mean, obviously, I can beat him again.
Ah, okay. Except, you know, there's that electoral college thing in the way. Steve, what do you think?
To go back to your first segment, Trish, if you look at the radicalization of parts of the Democratic Party, I think this is what the centrists in the Democratic Party fear. Their number one focus is to defeat Donald Trump. And what they see is Elizabeth Warren and others being pulled farther and farther to the left with policies they understand that Main Street America is just not going to accept. And they've seen this ugliness that's happening in the streets. They understand that that is not going to sell to Main Street America, to the silent majority. And so the centrists, they have Joe Biden right now. But Joe Biden, partly because of China, partly because he's just not that terrific a candidate, is starting to implode. You see it in fundraising, you see it in polling. And I believe, and I've said this for a while, when he drops below in the state polls in Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina, outside the leadership, the centrists in the Democratic Party are going to have a challenge to Elizabeth Warren. They're just not going to let this be a coronation. And so for whatever reason, Cory Booker, Kamala Harris, Senator Bennett, all these other people that could have been the centrist candidate, for whatever reason, haven't materialized. And that leaves a huge opportunity for two people, I believe, Michael Bloomberg and Hillary Clinton. And Hillary Clinton, I think, is going to ask the basic question, who of these Democratic candidates, including Elizabeth Warren, can get 65 million votes? She did get 65 million votes. We won the Electoral College. If we had gone, as President Trump said, and gone for the popular vote, we'd have won that too. But we focused on the Electoral College. But she's going to make a point of who out there can get that many votes. I think people are kidding themselves. They don't think Hillary Clinton's going to take a very long, very hard look at this and see if she can't get in there and at some point in time elbow her way in to this primary season and try to contest and try to have a rematch of Ali Frazier, a rematch with Donald Trump in the fall of 2020.
Well, would she be a more difficult candidate for him to beat? I mean, don't forget, I mean, America, you know, they're not made up of, even the Democratic Party itself, not made up of socialists, right? I mean, so if you're running a candidate like Elizabeth Warren, I don't think, as they say, it's going to play in Peoria, so to speak. So does Hillary Clinton have a better shot against Donald Trump than Warren?
Well, let's say the only, and I've said this for a while, the only person who could beat Donald Trump is Donald Trump. I don't see anybody, including Hillary Clinton or Michael Bloomberg, that could come on the scene and beat President Trump. I think President Trump, in getting through this impeachment process, which they've set up from the beginning to nullify the 2016 election, and getting through this, I think it will make him even a better and tougher candidate than he was in 16. Remember, Donald Trump's the best candidate we've had since Ronald Reagan, and he ran, particularly in the close, a very focused, you know, highly energetic race where he was doing these massive rallies, you know, 3, 4, 5 rallies a day, and galvanizing the upper Midwest with a message no Republican candidate has ever brought to working class people in Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Iowa, to win the blue wall up there. It will be very tough, I think, for any candidate to take that away from him because I think he connects with these people. But Hillary Clinton, of the people they've got out there, look, that was a tough fight in 16. You know, Donald Trump will tell you, we had to hammer that out to the very last day. Remember, at 8, and the first exit polls came out, we were getting blown out. It wasn't until, you know, 2:30 in the morning on the 9th that we won. And so it was a tough race. And Hillary Clinton, people, and particularly the Trump supporters, should not dismiss her. She's a tough warhorse. And if she decides to get in here, you know, President Trump will win, but it'll be a very tough battle. She's tough and she's smart, and she'll have a lot of money in back of her.
Wow. Yeah, and I imagine there's got to be part of her that feels like, you know, I was so close. I was so close. And then to walk away from it and see your party turn to a kind of radical economic line of thinking, you know, that's got to be tough on a personal level. It's tough from a policy level, Steve. And so maybe she feels like it's her calling.
Look, she's from, you know, the Clintons are from Arkansas. That's where they started their political career. I'm a Southerner. My family's Democrat. We're a Democratic family also, working class Democrats. We left the Democratic Party around the Vietnam War. In that time. But I got to tell you, you look at the Democratic Party and where it used to be and what it is to now, this is a radicalized party. If you look at the policies that Elizabeth Warren is promoting, they're not financially sustainable. They're not culturally sustainable. So Elizabeth Warren has been radicalized in this entire process. And to me, her policies get more radical as she goes on. I just don't think the American people are going to see her as a commander-in-chief, particularly in a time where you have China, Iran, Turkey. You have the entire world on knife's edge. Are they going to see Elizabeth Warren as a commander-in-chief? You know, Hillary Clinton, for all of her shortcomings, does have bona fides in that area. That's why I think when Hillary Clinton sits there and particularly thinks how she didn't pay attention to what Bill Clinton was telling her and what everything we know he was saying, look, Donald Trump is very focused on working class people's needs and concerns. He's talking about bringing manufacturing jobs. He's basically in Michigan and Wisconsin and Pennsylvania getting working class Democrats to vote for him, working class people that have not come out for a Republican candidate in a long time. So I think that that's what eats at her every day. If she had just listened to people that said, you've got to confront Trump on where he's going. She did. Her geniuses, you know, every morning on the talk shows, they would tell us how brilliant they were, how we were going to lose in a landslide. It turned out Donald Trump was right. His message was right. He was right, and he won, and I think that eats at her. But the Democratic Party, I think, still going to go through their mini-civil war before they get to the nomination process in 2020, because I think it's going to really define what the Democratic Party is. And if they nominate somebody on the far left, I just don't think there's any chance they end up beating Donald Trump.
I hear you. I hear you. I think you're absolutely right on that one. So interesting to talk to you, sir. Thank you so much. I know it's very late there in Athens, so thanks.